Merry meet. Annie here. I've decided I'm going to take on the YouTube Pagan Challenge for 2018. Honestly, because this one intrigues me. This year it's about the alphabet, with no suggestions what we put against each of the letters of the alphabet. So it's going to be fun to think of something for each letter of the alphabet. I decided that for mine, it's going to be a word for each letter that maybe is, well, not so obviously witchy at the first glance, but deeply so to me in the end. Like, for instance, A. Let's begin 2018. I've chosen alignment. That one came to me easily. I think some of the letters of the alphabet I'm probably going to have to be pondering for a while to come up with something that's not so obvious, like O for B. It could be besom. That's kind of obvious to me. So I chose alignment. I'm moving around because one guess who's in my lap. And he's not settled down. He's kind of dancing in the chair. See if you can get him to settle down. Then you'll hear him snore. That'll be the next thing. You know that if you watch my videos. So I chose A to be alignment. I think it's one of the things that brings us our greatest strength, our greatest comfort, our greatest inspiration. But I also think it can be, if not the most, at least one of the most challenging things that we deal with, especially as our practice matures. So when I'm talking about the mature witch, I'm not talking about age, I'm talking about where we've deepened, what matters the most to us, what we're connected to, who we are in relation to that, why we're better in relation to that. It's all part of this word I've chosen to be alignment. Often it comes up for me with students about the time we start talking about circles. Let's just say it comes up as a point of maybe challenge or, I got to think this one through at that point. Students have often come to me with concern about circle. Now this is students who might be casting circle on their own or who are going to be part of my circles. And they're concerned about circle early on. Sometimes they're concerned before they're leading a circle or doing their own circle work. They're even concerned when they're attending a circle that someone else with more experience might be leading. I think they're inspired by things they've read about what kind of nasties just might be lingering outside circle. They've read that we cast circle to protect ourselves. They've read that in weak moments we're at risk and at danger, specifically because we've cast circles, which attracts whatever it is that lingers on the outside of them. I'm not saying that's not true. I'm not saying that when we create a presence of power alone or with a group, that might not attract the interest of things that maybe they weren't what we were setting out to attract. But it's a good place to have the first, perhaps most serious discussion about alignment. Because what matters in that moment are several aspects of alignment. Within your circle, you've chosen to be aligned to certain things. You've decided what the elements and the guardians of the elements are for you. Even if you don't use those aspects, you know what of the energies of existence you've aligned yourself to that the elements represent. You might have a guardian that stands by you, an ancestor that stands by you. You might have deity that stands by you. Oh, I work with people who don't end up having specific deities that they work with. That does happen sometimes. But there's still some essence that's greater than yourself that you seek to connect in moments within your circle. If your alignment has been considered, you've chosen your partners. It's not by accident. You have decided what you align with best, what you understand best, what you feel understands you best, what complements your power, fuels your power, or leads you to be powerful. Whatever you're aligned to is your greater essence of being. It might be deity, it might be wisdom, it might just be who you are at your most powerful. And if you've gone through the process of developing, forging those kinds of partnerships, aligning with chosen energies, ideas, archetypes, emotions even, and deity, you should be casting a circle because you know within that circle, the combination of them and you is more powerful than anything that's outside the circle. If not, you're not ready for that step yet. Alignment is about being one with something that's, oh, and here's the wonderful paradox, both within us and without us, very powerfully. Something we become one with. We become, in a way, the best we can be, the most powerful we can be. At the same time, in a way, we become something bigger than that, something most of us try to put words to, but can't. The important thing about alignment, to me, it's an aspect of the element of fire. It's choice. We decide. We set it by intention. Well, that doesn't mean that a certain deity or a certain energy doesn't call out to us, but we still have the choice of paying attention and doing something about it or not. The witch decides what they're aligned to. I dare say it's a good thing to have this as A and at the beginning of the alphabet, because it's where we do begin. Early on, we read a lot, we study a lot. Maybe we're fortunate enough to be with others, to learn from them, and also to have that dialogue where we engage, we give, and we receive. We try a lot of things, we read a lot of things, we hear a lot of things. Then we get to where we start doing a lot of things over and over because we found a pattern or a resonance, something that means something to us. Our first sense, I think, of who we are, past those initial stages, which all of us have to experience, that first sense of what we're aligned to gives us, it informs who we are as a witch, what our practice is going to be like, why we do what we do. That sense of not being alone. To me, that's the moment I could say I became what I would name witch. When I knew it wasn't just about me. It wasn't about, oh, what I chanted or the herbs and spices I put together or how many candles I lit or how much time or how casually I put a circle together. It was about who was with me in that moment. Who do we choose to be aligned to? And how do each of those alignments, each of those bondings and partnerships, how do they make us better? I would probably say they make us better when we feel most naturally and powerfully who we are, when inhibitions and worries and hesitancy fall away. In addition to that, which is very personal, it's about who we are. We then discover that it's not just about that. It's that we become something that we don't have to name. We just have to experience and feel. Something bigger than that when we align to these energies, whatever energies we choose to align with, which are outside of ourselves. We can be a witch alone in the sense that we're solitary practitioners, if that's the way we choose to, or under circumstances must practice. However, there's this moment for everyone I've worked with as a student, especially the ones I've had the opportunity to work with face to face, where I can feel their energy and watch it evolve in a way that's very unique to that kind of relationship. There's a moment when they first experience a sense of being part of something greater. I think I recognize it because I still remember the first time it was that way for me. My first experience of alignment was actually with Goddess herself, But after that, of course, there are moments where each of the guardians became unique and individual. When my spirit guide, my animal guide showed itself to me. Oh, the alignment I felt when I have had my one and only, God bless his little soul, my one and only familiar in the years we spent together. It's a sense of being strong and true and centered and being able to almost be humble in the face of offering that to something greater. Oh, I wonder when we get to O if offering might not be the word. So if you haven't thought of alignment in those senses, I ask a couple questions for you to consider. What do you choose to be aligned to? What inspires you to that? Is it something you've reached out for? Is it something that's whispering to you or even yelling at you to get your attention? And why would you choose to align to that? How does it make you better and stronger? How does it make you more compassionate? How does it make you more humble? How does it make you feel perfectly unique, but at the same time lost in something that it's so much greater that your identity gets lost in it? Alignment. It's a matter of choice. But I do wonder, could we define someone as energetically powerful, as spiritually powerful, if they couldn't name what it is they've aligned themselves to? There's my A word. I'd love your thoughts on it below. If you are doing the YouTube Pagan Challenge, mention it below. I want to make sure I'm subscribed to your channels. Whether this is your topic or not, because what would be wonderful is to see how many different kinds of A's come up, as it will be for every letter of the alphabet. For me, alignment came quickly and easily, because I challenged myself to think, what would I be without my relationship to the energies, to the deities, to the greater love, to the greater wisdom to which I've chosen to align myself. Let me get back to where I started this, that so often the serious conversation about alignment comes when someone is questioning being in a circle or leading their own circle, and they're worried about what might be nibbling at the edges of the circle. When you're aligned to something, that the bond creates something powerful, something you've chosen to be aligned to. You know it betters yourself. You know it centers yourself. You know it broadens yourself. Fear doesn't enter the picture. My I word might be inviolate. That nothing can touch you. Most especially in light of what you've chosen to be in relationship with, what you are aligned to. I have no idea what my B word is going to be. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun to challenge myself, maybe to come at things from a slightly different perspective, and be part of the YouTube Pagan Challenge for 2018, a year I still can't really believe has begun. I wish you all mirth and reverence. Merry part.